Honestly, seeing a beautiful garden does so much for me emotionally. In nature, I have found um, God to be most present there for myself. So, tending to the land for me personally is very spiritual and meaningful in my relationship with God and myself. I will just start getting into it. Everyone's got a pen and paper. I wanted to ask that you guys self-reflect. I'm not really going to ask that you share, but if you really want to, I could always open up the floor for that. But I want everyone to kind of write down, think about it first, have intention with this answer, but where do you call home? And that doesn't need to be a place, it could be a person. Is it bound by a place? Is it a relationship? Where do you call home? And so the majority of us have home in only a single space, which is totally okay. A lot of the things I want to talk about home for a bit because when thinking about gardening and plants, I always kind of get tripped out by the fact that, that plant behind you, Stefan, will always be there. It's never going to move to another place. This is its home. And so at one point I was in my own art practice, I was making art out of these plants, and I was just looking at them and being like, this tree is forever going to be here, until something happens to the tree to have it cut down or something. It's always going to be there. It's just, we are moving around it, and it's kind of crazy to think that we are just passing by it. And, a plant's life and a tree's life is totally different from our lifespan. They can live if the circumstances are right, they can live for a long time. They can have that place be their home for almost forever for us in our eyes. So, thinking about home, and for me, home, gardening, again, is really important to me. It's wherever I can kind of dig my hands into the dirt. It's wherever I can, if it's the property that I'm on, then it's wherever I can landscape or take care or bring my plants that I've been taking care of with me. And so it's kind of like the garden of your life. Where is that? It doesn't have to be a singular space, and you can care for it in different ways. Has anyone ever killed a plant because they took too good care of it? They were watering it too much. Yeah. Or sometimes, you have a spot in your house or something, or outside where you're like, oh, a plant looks so good in this spot, and then you put it there, and it turns out the plant does not like that spot, and you're like, it either dies because you really wanted to make it work, you really tried to push it, but obviously it's not happy there, so, you either have to move it and compromise with it, find a place where it is going to be happy that, doesn't, look the best or something, but it's where it's happiest, so, overwatering is also another one. You just, look at it and you're like, oh, I want you to grow super fast, and just, give it so much water, and nope, they're also not happy drowning in that either. So I want you to think about different parts of your life, different relationships, or places where you're maybe giving too much water to that place, person, thing. Where are you overwatering because you just have so much love, or you have so much hope for this one thing that you want to see and experience? Versus where's a place where you think you could use more water? You can kind of give your attention, your time, your love to something else, somewhere, someone special to me. They were gifts from other people, and so it's an awesome thing when you're gifted a plant. It's like, this thing is going to be living for as long as I can manage it for, so it's almost like having that connection with this person who maybe I don't see a lot. It's like, okay, I'm going to make this thing live, and so squirrels end up attacking it, and I can't be there by the plant side at all hours just fending off those squirrels. So I don't know what to do about it, and I just moved the plant to another place where it's more enclosed, but it's trying, I don't want to just I even have a slingshot where I get some little rocks, but I'm I don't want to injure this thing, but also it's stay away. The first thing that pops into your head. It could be a color, it could be your own definition of it, a metaphor to connect to something else, but it's less than 10 words. Okay. The first word is plant. Plant. Just plant. Singular. Alright, next one is home. Alright, next one is garden. Land. River. Homeland. The last one is water. The way that we identify plants is like it, or like a scientific sort of thing where like, to me, I try and think of plants more as like beings, as people, where it's like they have a name, they have relationships with other plants and the land, and I mean entirely like just cultural ties with people that, where they originated from. So it's like when you said tomato, it's like you named plant person in your own world, you know, where the plants can sing in a way. You bring out the sound of the song that they're singing. Give a shout out to very inspiring books. Has anyone heard of this book?
Mm-mm.
I highly recommend. It's by Robin Wall Kimmerer. She's an indigenous scientist. So she studies plants professionally, but she also has a very personal relationship to the landscape, to plants in general. And she kind of, she talks about more about that point where I made where when we talk about plants and of natural things or resources, we don't, as people, see a reason to care for it. We just kind of take. But, you know, you have to care for things that it's an exchange. It's a relationship that you're building. I mean, you have to take care of the LA River, our home, our friends, if we are to survive also. And so I recommend everyone read that at some point. She mentions that it's about knowing the plants, the people, everything by name, identifying that they have a name, that they have purpose. Like, what do they do with their actions? They're not just a noun, they have actions. Trees do something, maybe not directly for us, but for the ecosystem. And so if we are to care for the place that we call home, it's almost like, can you become native to a place where even if you're not ancestrally native to this place, you can become that. I mean, there's so many people that are scattered in different parts of the world, but we can become native to the place, to Pasadena, to your home, to your people, and we can together like make a place that we call home. Eventually home will merge with other people's homes, and then you create community. And so becoming native, I think, is something that we should all consider, about just caring for the people, the place around you, identifying things that maybe people just refer to as it, or just nouns, not really things that can do something, that can change.